Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 236 slash the first part of our 210s of the High Sensitivity Podcast. And thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game, movie news, and TV shows.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Barry, one of the co hosts, along with my two other special guests. Co hosts.
My name is Craig, co-host number one, Heisman Academy Award trophy winning Emmy winner
Wow.
that you've never heard of.
My name is also Craig, co-host number 2, over here dodging drones in the sky, ready to give my list if
Let's
I don't get
go.
abducted first.
Yeah, be careful of the birds you see out there, ladies and gentlemen. They may be drones. Just
They
so
might be.
everyone's aware, yeah. Keep that in mind. But
Right.
what we're here for today is the first part of our top tens, which will include movies and TV shows. And then also, of course, the big news. We aren't really going to get into any other news. It's going to be the Game Awards. So we might as well get into it. Before I get over all the announcements, I do want to ask you both. You both watched it.
Mhm.
What did you think?
This one was pretty good in comparison. I don't want to get pretty bold and say that it's one of the best that out of the 10 years that they've been doing this, but I think it had a great flow. I don't think there was too much of any one gimmick or anything that would really kind of sour the taste. And I also liked that everybody had a chance to really speak, and nobody really abused that. Nobody God of warred it, so to speak, in terms of how long they were thanking the people that got them to that ceremony.
It could have been real bad with some of the picks, but I think it was pretty good overall.
Yeah, my only thing is they had good announcements. I thought the
Mhm.
awards were fine. I kind of like last year's as a celebration of gaming music. This year was Here's Snoop Dogg.
and 21 Pilots.
And
Yes.
21 Pilots, let's not forget.
So like I guess I understand like they're trying to get like main event music stuff, but I like the fact that the Game Awards celebrate video game music because not really any other
Yeah.
place does. So if anything, like we should have gotten a track from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, should have gotten something from Stellar Blade or Black Myth Wukong or any of the other like I don't know top nominees you did for video game soundtracks this year. Could have done any of that, any of it. Jeff Keighley.
Yep.
Do you think Jeff was kind of riding, because like that musical number from Alan Wake was such a monumental thing? Do you think he just had a moment where he was like, we should really celebrate music, and then that moment just left his brain for 2024?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like he had to include music from Arcane because it was so big. So the
Right.
21 Pilots thing makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I could do without Snoop Dogg at the Game Awards, honestly.
Like I thought the reason Snoop Dogg was, and I really didn't think he was there because of a performance, but I thought he was going to announce like the XCon or whatever, DEF
Right.
CON. That's what it was. Like announce that game and whatever they were working on, but that just wasn't the case. But
That was an easy check for him, though.
yeah,
Easy
Yeah.
check.
yeah.
And Harrison Ford.
And Harrison Ford. That was quite the surprise. I
It
could
was.
definitely. I was waiting for him to be like, "Why does it smell in here?" Let's get into the nominees then, or no, sorry, the announcements, because that's what this show is unfortunately turned into is announcement land.
Yep.
So let me go through all kind of the bigger ones. We had Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound. It is a side scroller. Slay the Spire 2, Thick as Thieves, a PvPvE 5/ or rematch, 5-a-side soccer, which is what my description says. Celeste 2, Witcher 4, Elden Ring Night Rain, Project Robot from the makers of The Last Guardian and Shadow of the Colossus, Split Fiction from the makers of It Takes Two, Steel Hunters, Borderlands 4, Clive Rossfelt in Tekken 8, Project Century, the weird Japanese bar fighting game, Turok Origins, Onimusha: Way of the Sword, Sonic Racing Crossworlds, an Okami sequel was announced. Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet is announced as the new IP from Naughty Dogs. Mafia: The Old Country, more of that was teased. We have Stage Fright, a co-op adventure. Splitgate 2, another announcement for Warframe 1999, a new Virtua Fighter. I think I got it all. I think
Sounds like it.
a couple Koira, which is a multiplayer exploration game. Steel Paws for a Netflix game. Shadow Labyrinth, and Dave the Diver in the Jungle. Yeah, it's about that's about most of the announcements there.
Did I miss Turok? Do you say Turok?
Yeah,
Yeah, I said
Turok was
Turok.
another one.
Okay, sorry.
I think I said it, Turok Origins. But so what I'll get into is me personally. What I was excited for is re/match. That's such a weird thing. It's five-a-side soccer from the developers of Sifu.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like FIFA, but it looks like a more personal and close.
Looks like Rocket
version of-
League.
Rocket League.
Yeah.
Rocket League FIFA.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that. That looks like fun. I will definitely be giving it a shot. Celasta 2, which if you're looking for like a budget Baldur's Gate 3, Celasta 1 was something I played a lot of. Celasta 2 will also be very much like that. I think people should be giving Celasta more of a shot. Let's talk about first of the bigger ones, which are 4. And kind of a side announcement with that. Also mentioned that it was running on an unannounced NVIDIA graphics card, the 50 series. So we imagine.
Mhm.
Seeing this trailer made me remember I should go and play Witcher 3.
You both
And then
did
I remember and then I remember like no.
Nope.
I can't.
I was
Agreed.
playing it today.
I know you are.
I downloaded it again, and I started playing again.
I
guys.
did not, because I remembered how much I just did not like The Witcher.
It's for all of you out there listening and watching who do, be excited with Barry and I then.
Yeah.
I'm
Very
excited.
Wait,
and I-
Siri?
Okay.
Siri?
like I am excited, and maybe one day like I am making it my own personal kind of New Year's resolution to finish more games and finish my backlog before I start buying new games. It's not going to help when a Switch 2 gets announced and new
Right.
Pokemon comes out. Regardless, I'm excited for Witcher 4. I think taking the Siri route is the way. In the end of the trailer, we did hear Geralt's voice. CG Projekt Red did mention that he is in the game, but in a different way. So while he is not the main guy, you will get to see him. So, that's kind of nice considering a lot of the time these characters have to die, quote unquote, in order for us to relive them or reimagine them. But I thought they were working on a prequel, and that's why I was kind of
Yeah.
surprised that
This seems
got-
really far off, though. Does it not?
I definitely think a lot of this is some of this
Yeah.
stuff is definitely far off. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with
Right.
you.
Does it come out before Elder Scrolls?
That's a
It
good
probably
question.
does.
You think so?
I think every game ever is going to come out before Elder.
And
Yeah,
GTA?
what comes out first? Witcher 4, GTA 6, or Elder Scrolls 6?
Right.
I mean, there was no GTA trailer at all to be seen at the
Yeah.
Game Awards, so
Yeah, they've made it very much a this is good for publicity. This
Yep.
is our publicity thing where we aren't showing anyone anything unless it gets leaked.
agreed.
Next one up that I want to talk about, Elden Ring Night Rain. This is interesting as it is a 2025 release, co-op, roguelike,
Yep.
celebration of Souls-likes, I kind of want to call it. So keep in mind, as people who are this game, according to IGN, is very much going to be this game is being made for people to jump on to the Elden Ring Souls-like franchise. This game is meant to make it easier for people to enjoy Souls-like series. The biggest thing here is you and a party of 3, which, 2 of your other friends, if you have any, would be picking classes, and you kind of go through these day cycles where you all 3 you start at level 1, you're going to kill stuff. You then, as a circle shrinks, very much like Fortnite, at the end of it there is a big boss. If you beat that boss, you continue to the next day, you grind more, do the same thing 3 times. That kind of pretty much sounds like a regular battle royale or type sort of thing here. The biggest thing is for the Souls-like is that they are introducing bosses from previous games, Souls games, to be in here. We saw the Nameless King.
Yep.
I think we saw a newer version or smaller version of the Gaping Dragon. So we can take that for what we will, but we're going to see past bosses imagined in this new way with new movesets, because now they're going to be, there's going to be more people on the screen. But imagine and you guys will get this. They're going to put Melania back in this game with a moveset that can tackle more people than one. Because that's how you cheesed her. Is if you had more than one person, you guys could just stagger her over and over and over again. And even then, she was pretty hard. But now they're probably going to be like, you know what? This is how we get them.
Now, is this something that I don't know for sure, so that's why I'm asking, but you're picking 2 of your friends and you're just kind of dropping in like you would a battle royale. Is there other people in there with you as well, or is it just bosses?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of how you would get together with other Destiny players, friends, just to do a raid specifically.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me of, but like in full game form. But like you pose a great question, Craig. Are we walking around with like a lot of other people, or what's like how many what are the enemies like? It looks a lot less darker than Elden Ring did. A lot more color, a lot less, I would say, unnerving as being in that world specifically. I don't know. That was my vibe.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, yes, you are going to be like in this world with other people, but only your 2 friends. It's not like an open world thing, kind of like where Destiny is, where the hub world is open, or certain areas are open. As far as I know, and according to IGN from the video I saw, it is you and your 2 friends plopped in a weird version of the Elden Ring map, where things are not
randomly generated, pretty much.
Random generated.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do we get is this how they shut up Bloodborne? People who want the Bloodborne remake by putting like Orphan of Kos in there, or I don't know, Lawrence. Like,
good question.
That's what I would do if I were them.
Those bosses is a good question.
Right.
Yeah. I'll try it. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I just wonder, is this going to be like a $70 game? Am I going to have to pay full price for this?
I would hope not.
Does it feel it's mandatory multiplayer, right? Is that what it feels like?
I wonder. You probably could drop in solo.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Let's hear. Yeah, exactly. When it comes out later this year. Project Robot. What did you guys think of that little teaser we got?
It was beautiful. I don't know anything about what's to come, but it did what a trailer's supposed to do and made me want to learn more.
Yeah, raised a lot of questions, and it looks like it's I don't know. Like, you could definitely tell it's like slow, kind of like Shadow of the Colossus climbing up stuff.
I've never gotten those games though, any of them. I've never beaten them. I've never played more than a couple hours. Just something about them has not clicked with me.
Yeah.
So I can't get like super excited for it, but it does look cool. I'll give it a shot again. Just like
I give it a shot. Just writing down ones you're going to give a shot.
Yeah.
Just I'm in. I want to learn more phase. I'm excited to see what future stuff is.
Split Fiction,
looks cool.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
I kind of wondered how you were going to follow up the
It Takes Two.
Yeah, like the It Takes Two vibe, but this is pretty much the way to go, and you're definitely gonna get like because It Takes Two is also kind of like an exploration of game types and stuff like that, where it's puzzling and it's sometimes an FPS and it's this and it's that. This more seems to celebrate the fact that it is a celebration of like the fantasy and sci-fi genre that you can really only achieve in video games.
I got my divorce papers ready to go for when I play that game with my wife.
Right. It looks great, and
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you, Barry. It's like, how do you follow up something as amazing as the 2022, right? Is the one it won, or
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Yep.
How do you follow that up? And that's exactly how you do it. And if there's an award for most animated developer as well,
Yeah.
he loved being there. Like it was great. He was
He
swearing.
loves video games.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
He's an interesting fella.
He really is.
Yeah. But excited nonetheless. Let's see here. I don't really. Do you guys want to talk about Steel Hunters or no?
No.
It just seemed like a World of Tanks, but you're a Gundam / Zoid type animal mechanical thing.
I thought you'd be excited.
Right.
Not that it looks like a World of Tanks. Like the moment I saw that, because it looks like one of those like World of Tanks or World of whatever Seacraft game, mobile game. It kind of killed my vibe, much like the game. And I should have mentioned this too. Game of Thrones, King's Road.
Oh yeah.
Like that looked good,
Mhm.
but then you kind of remember that it's a mobile game. So I don't know how that works, because it seems like it's a story of some sort. But what do we know? What do I know at least?
Yep.
Right.
Borderlands 4.
I'm excited. Give me more.
I wish I'd saw like actual more gameplay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That is what I wish from that trailer.
What do you need to see though? Because it's just Borderlands. Like you're either excited for Borderlands or you're not, right? At this point.
Yeah, I guess you have a point. Like I do like that we are getting like a new enemy type.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely seeming to be like they're going away from all the psychos and things like that. I don't know if I like the characters you're going to select this time around.
That's
and
fair.
I wish I knew more about them, because those are what, like, as much as it is finding guns and loot, if you don't like the people's abilities or their character archetypes, you might not.
Yeah, you might
not
bounce
enjoy the
off
game.
of it. Yep.
Yeah.
True.
But it is more Borderlands, which is great. And there's been a lot of awesome things. There have been a lot of awesome things that have happened in between Borderlands 3 and now. So like it's kind of exciting to see what they'll do with it.
Yeah. If they change the formula, people would be upset.
Yeah.
So I think in general, you know what you're going to get: wacky story one-liners with weird guns. And you either like that or you don't. And it seems like most people were kind of off of Borderlands 3, right?
Yeah.
Most people didn't like it.
Because they changed the formula a little bit.
So I'll be interested to see if people care at this point.
We then have Clive Rossfield instead of Tifa in Tekken 8.
Yeah, that's
weird. My only thing is I imagine Tifa's model had something to do with it.
Maybe. I feel like she's been in a fighting game before, though.
Oh, most definitely. I can't think of it, though.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. No, it is cool. Project Century, the Chinese, Japanese, looks like you're taking care of a bar and fighting people, looked very gruesome. I kind of liked that way I kind of liked the way the game looked, but I didn't have many other opinions other than I thought this was like some sort of Sifu thing. But
it's the people who do Yakuza.
Yeah,
it is, and they know how to do games that of what that looks like, and they just did the Ishin,
right?
In feudal Japan, was it essentially? So they just did that one. So I'm down for a period piece. And Barry, I love your description. Bar fighting or bar owning fighting game, or however you described it.
Does it seem like this is their new strategy where they have like, there's always two, there's like a more serious one and then there's a wacky one now? Like you had Infinite Wealth and then you had oh my god, the one about
the
Ryu.
man who killed his name, or
you had that one, and now you have a pirate one and this one. So it's I feel like they're just like, why don't we just do both? A wacky one because people like that, but people also like the little bit more serious Yakuza games. Let's just do both.
Yeah.
what's cool is for fans of that developer, you really are just pumping it out,
And each one's like 100 hours.
Right.
It's crazy.
Still not seeing the quality drop off either.
No.
So they can continue doing it until it doesn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like there's a little slight bit of goofiness because like that main character has like a style, almost in a weird way. He was beating up guys with a vibe to him.
He was.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? Maybe not, but who's that guy from Tekken that has the drunken style? Is it Lei or something like that? There's somebody
I
from
don't
a
even
fighting game.
remember. Yeah.
There's somebody who has like literally his style is like drunken monkey, like that is his fighting style, or it's like one of those named like that. But I don't know.
Alrighty, so I can't say much for these next two, but I do want to let you guys have the floor for it. Turok Origins and Onimusha Way of the Sword. Like, I'll let you guys kind of take the floor because I don't have really much to say. I never played them.
Greg, which one do you want to talk about first?
So I'll just say this. I think this is probably the best place to start. I don't have a massive nostalgia for Turok. I don't know if you do, but like I played it on 64, but I was never like a huge fan because I always played GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. But Turok is a good game. I'm just like, I'm cautious about it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Turok for me, I just have a distinct memory of playing the heck out of it.
Okay.
And it was one of those games where I was wondering why I was allowed to play it.
They had cool guns.
It had cool guns.
Yep.
It did. Is it my favorite series from a kid? No, but as somebody who has not seen a Turok installment in so long, I'm just happy to see a series be revitalized. It's like whenever they announce Dino Crisis, whenever it's like whenever they bring something like that back, you just have to clap.
Yeah.
So that was where my Turok excitement came from.
Okay. But we can both geek out over Onimusha.
Oh my god.
we literally were talking and I said like I want to play the old ones again, but I'm scared to because I don't think they've held up well.
Right. And when the trailer started, I was putting it together. Like I was like, "Oh my god, is this what I think it is?" And I shouted out the wrong game to my wife first.
Okay.
And then I was like, "Wait a minute, that's Onimusha. Never mind. That's is that what we're getting?" And then they just show him absorbing.
Yep.
And I was like, "This is crazy." And like Craig, again, we were talking. I forgot how many of those I played.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Because when media had a Jean Reno resurgence and he was in that Godzilla with Matthew Broderick, and like I liked him in that. I just remembered playing Onimusha 3 and he was just in it.
Yep.
And I infinitely liked that game better because of that. I don't know. It wasn't even the best installment by far.
Yep.
It's a great series. It's unique and it's coming back. So let's do it. I'm with it.
So excited for that one.
Yeah.
We didn't get much, but we did get a slight trailer for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds with the absence really of a new Mario Kart game and just all of them doing DLC and that only being on Nintendo products. Sonic Racing has kind of become this competitor to Mario Kart, and I'm all for it. I really the Sonic Racing games are fun.
They're
and the
great.
fact that the fact that we're getting kind of a newer thing, if it can rival Mario Kart, I want to see competition in that space for like fun arcadey kart style games, and they have a chance to do that here with that. Now, I never played this game either. Okami sequel, very far off, but what did you guys think of that one?
Sure, I'll play it. I'm not as high on Okami as some people are, but it's a good game. So I would definitely play another one.
And that's where I'm at too.
Don't hate on me, everybody, for that take, but I know it's regarded very highly.
Yeah.
Right.
And then pretty much Jeff Keighley's One Last Thing. was Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, a new IP from Naughty Dog. What did you guys think of that?
Is it too early to tell?
I mean, I liked what I saw. I was more excited to just see Naughty Dog not showing up in and around Last of Us, like me booting up the Last of Us game or like watching the Last of Us show. Like that was, I mean, clearly they can tell a fantastic story and put together solid gameplay and um re-release their best work over and over again for us to buy. So like, let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah, this definitely seems to have a bigger emphasis on. We already had some product placement very early into it. Porsche somehow getting into this. I don't know what it is about Sony games and product placement as of late, especially with the Adidas stuff with Spider-Man 2. But you do have some actors who are trying to get into this space, and it seems like Naughty Dog are the people to bring them into the space. Is what they're trying to do.
Yep.
It from the slight snippets of like gameplay we saw, it looked like almost a sci-fi Souls-like game. The character is wielding a sword, laser sword of some sort.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to see where it goes from there, but it also looks like it's a terribly far way off. So I'm trying not to give Naughty Dog too much credit, as we did just kind of get from them the past couple years, re-release after another re-release or remaster or anything like that. So
they're literally, I don't know of any other game companies where they have not yet let me down on a single game I've played of theirs. So until they do, I will always be excited to play a new Naughty Dog game. Like they've just released hit after hit after hit. So you have to believe that they know what they're doing.
Right.
And the sci-fi thing's cool. Something a little different other than what Jak and Daxter, I guess, would be sci-fi for them. But yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, those are the games that I kind of saw and looked at. Was there anything I missed that you guys want to talk about?
Let me go back real quick. I think you hit a lot of the main ones.
I tried to.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything else that was crazy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, I am interested to see Thick as Thieves. And then Mafia Old Country just in the summer.
That's probably my most anticipated next year because I still don't believe GTA is coming out. So Mafia would be my pick.
And last question: are you guys out of Outer Worlds people, or
Oh, that's right. Outer Worlds 2 was also.
I didn't play the first one enough.
I didn't get into the first one enough either. But the more I learn about people's experiences with the Outer Worlds, it seems to be a very highly sarcastic space Fallout, and I think I'd like that. So maybe I'd try to give it a shot with Outer Worlds. I just remember, I think Outer Worlds didn't run well necessarily on consoles when it first released. So that probably was one of the reasons I booted myself off that game quite quickly. Whereas there's probably an update for it on the next gen consoles now, so it probably runs buttery smooth. But regardless, that is where I think that's why I fell off the first one.
Is that the one we add, Barry, to play next year?
Instead
of Death Stranding?
Wilds?
You have to have a Death Stranding replacement.
No, we always pick one.
You can put Death Stranding 2 in there.
My problem is it kind of, I feel like it should be The Witcher, considering that I want to play
Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that has a next gen, and I have the complete edition with all the DLC.
It's funny. I own it too.
It's a big game. It's a big game to try.
I was gonna say, if you didn't, I just saw on Steam it's $10 right now, because I already had it on PlayStation. Now I can cross-platform and just chip away at it slowly while we wait
hundreds and hundreds of hours.
For hundreds and hundreds of hours.
That's going to be the issue.
I'm down to try The Witcher again. I've tried at least 3 times. And every time I'm just like, nope. Something about it just throws me off every time.
But yeah, that was the announcements for the Game Awards. I don't know if you guys have anything that you want to think of particularly, but like overall for the Game Awards, I thought Metaphor ReFantazio got one too many awards.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish Final Fantasy and Stellar Blade would have gotten their fair due on some of the other stuff. Black Myth Wukong did at least win something. That was nice for them. They did deserve it from what they got there.
Mm-hmm.
Astrobot winning Game of the Year, like we kind of talked about it, guys. Like I did feel like for a platformer, you do need to have these very responsive like mechanics and stuff like that. And all three of us ran into instances where Astrobot wouldn't like he landed on the ground, we jump again and we lose our double jump or lose this, blah blah blah, lasers, blah. So it was one of those things where like there was definitely like a little bit of not and responsiveness that I would have liked from a game that requires that. So Team Asobi deserves it. It's a great game, but I do feel like or really wish it was other games that got the spotlight.
I'm okay with it winning. I was honestly okay with anything except Elden Ring in that category and Balatro. I don't think Balatro deserves Game of the Year, but so I was not upset. I mean, Wukong had a bunch of issues for me as well playing it. Final Fantasy is another one that you could have picked for sure, but I mean, I think I'm almost a little bit happy that a platformer won.
Yeah, I think so too. It was funny, like looking at the camera shot from Team Asobi with the Xbox guy. What's his name? Phil Spencer.
Yep.
Phil Spencer. Yeah.
It's like, damn it, PlayStation did it again. You can feel like the evilness come out of there, but
I'll get you, PlayStation. I'll get you.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Barry, you made an interesting for the person that loved Metaphor this year and played it. I was surprised at how much it won.
Yeah,
I was surprised. I thought I was gonna hear maybe their name once and just say, "All right, that's the win," But art direction, narrative was the one I didn't think it would take. I liked their narrative, but I just didn't think they would take it. So very interesting there. Shout out to Rebirth for winning score. We knew it was fun. It was fun to really just kind of champion that Stellar Blade should, but I mean, come on, like, and then audio design. Shout out to Senua Saga for audio design and performance.
Yeah.
I think Melina. Say it again.
Didn't deserve audio design.
I didn't think either, but shout out to them anyway, I guess. But Melina, even though Brianna did a wonderful Aerith, we got to think back to some of those scenes. She kills that role. Senua is I think the way she's played is the reason why we all play that game. To be honest with you,
for the first one too.
I think she did.
Yeah, that was my thing. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure she did. I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with her winning. I would have preferred Aerith, but it is what it is.
And then Balatro won, I think, the categories that it definitely should have. Yeah. And I'm glad to see them win some things too. I can't believe Metaphor won 3 things. That's insane. But I think that's all I had from the awards.
Shall we get into then our top 10 TV shows is what we'll start with. So keep in mind for this, guys, what we do every year is we go, each of us, through our 10, our 9s, our 8s, our 7s, etc. If we match up, we will mention it later and then kind of discuss from kind of the highest point that we have a certain show or something like that.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of overlap.
Other than me,
maybe
most
not
likely. With like you guys had kind of mentioned, like for me, I'm probably the only one that really dives into the anime world as much as I do. So I have anime picks that definitely will be nowhere on any of your lists. So
that's why we call it Barry's Corner, everybody.
Yep.
Barry's Corner.
Yep. To start, I had early on this year, it's funny looking at shows, you forget how early some of these things come out at. But number 10 for me, and I remember talking about it earlier this year, was Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
The Donald Glover coming out party. But I really liked just the weekly basis of that show. it is a fun take on the Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of franchise where both of them kind of know what's happening and what's going on and what to do. But not, of course, not my favorite, being at number 10. But
I grabbed this past week. I was looking at like top 10 TV show lists because I felt like my list was a little light because I watched so many movies, and that was one that I had marked down. I just didn't have time to watch it, so I'm gonna have to check it out for sure.
Yeah, if you guys if you end up watching it, let me know how you feel. I finished that one and I liked it, but just there is enough here where it's good. There's a lot of good stuff out here.
Cool. Go ahead, Craig.
I got a weird one as my 10, and also just a disclaimer to everybody because I already spoke to Craig and Barry about it, but I didn't watch a lot of TV this year. So what I have is I have 8, and then I have 2 acclaimed TV shows that I wanted to watch and probably will after this podcast. And then I have them where I think they would be in my list had I watched them. So number 10 for me is going to be out of left field. It's Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV.
Okay.
It's just a well done documentary series about what was a pleasant point, and a lot of adults, when at that time kids in the 90s, around Nickelodeon and what they were doing and what was going on behind that set. And I don't know, it struck me differently just because of how many shows I loved from Nickelodeon growing up, and just yet again, just what was actually being done to those kids, and the monsters behind it. So I think the cherry on top was bringing Drake Bell in, because anybody who was watching that series, including my wife and I, didn't think that he would have stepped forward at that time, but he did. So that was kind of like the crazy thing.
So for mine, I can get a little iffy, but I'm basing things on like if they're still ongoing, like the season, right, that came out this year. So number 10 for me is season 2 of Tulsa King. I know it was on my list last year. Another great season with good old Sylvester Stallone, fully invested in that TV show. So that squeaked its way into number 10.
First of the odd ones coming in from Barry is Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
Let me type this in.
Crunchyroll.
Frieren?
Type this in.
Yeah, Frieren.
Okay.
Beyond Journey's End. It is probably one of the top-rated animes that came out this year. I have 1 or 2 above it just for personal enjoyment. But what I loved about Frieren was I feel like they really nailed the I am a 1,000-year-old elf mage, and like I am better than everyone in this world because I have lived for 1,000 years. What it pretty much is Frieren, the mage, for a it takes place like after her journey of beating like the very evil, very huge bad king. They defeat it, but it picks up where a lot of her party is dying off because they're humans or gnomes and stuff like that. So you take this journey where she gets sent on another journey from one of her other people before they die. And because she feels indebted to these people, she ends up taking an apprentice, even though she doesn't want to, and goes on this journey taking on another person's apprentice as well. I just enjoy the fact that there is this one moment in the anime where it is a battle and she knows the enemy, and like knows how to defeat her. And there's this one like moment where she just displays her full on power, and it's one of the most like overwhelming things that like I've seen in an anime, where it's like, okay, yeah, this 1,000-year-old mage obviously just kills anyone who thinks they're, the hot shots for their mage in their world just isn't 1,000 years old. Doesn't know all of the stuff that she knows. So Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. I binge this hard. There's not a lot of anime that make me stay up between like 11 and 12 because I do work very early in the morning. This is one of those animes where I binge the hell out of it.
Okay.
All right. So number 9 for me is Grotesquerie, a Ryan Murphy special yet again. It had twists, it had turns, it had a complete 180 somewhere in the series. I won't say where in case you want to watch it, but what it did remind me of is very Seven-esque moments. Um, they didn't call it grotesquerie for nothing. There are some pretty gross scenes and gross murders that happen in that show. A lot of imagery that Ryan Murphy tends to put in his horror shows that kind of make you just, I don't know, makes you unnerved. But it's a good watch. And Niecy Nash killed it. Plays a great drunk detective with demons in her past kind of thing. And then they do a great job with her backstory as well to kind of open it up. So that's number 9 for me.
Okay. Number 9 for me is actually an animated show, X-Men 97. I'm sure this is on your list as well. Barry for sure, Craig probably. So I won't say a whole bunch about it, but a nice little return to form from what I remember from watching X-Men back in the day with some nice modern twists.
Most definitely.
At 8, I have Day of the Jackal, Peacock original. Very much this kind of mystery spy thriller type portion of TV show that I really liked. Eddie Redmayne, mostly known for his roles in the Fantastic Beasts series, I think takes on an excellent, like, man of all disguises / genius engineer. On top of that too, Day of the Jackal I think is acted very well, and the beginning is a little slow, but as you continue to ramp up, that's what I really enjoyed from Day of the Jackal, is that it's a series that, while it starts slow, gets better and you get more invested.
All right, number 8 for me is Under the Bridge, which is a true crime drama miniseries. It's specifically based on the death of 14-year-old Rena Verk, who essentially went out to a party, never came home. What it does is it kind of gives a broader scope. For me, I didn't know, or I don't know a lot about, I guess, growing up in Canada because I grew up in the United States. But it shows a kind of a coming of age turn murder story and what happened to that unfortunate individual and what went on in the events leading up to it. So it's a good watch. A little heavy, but not too heavy when you think in terms of crime dramas, I think.
Okay. Number 8 for me, the show dropped a little bit this year, but still enjoyed it. I'm going with season 3 of The Bear. I know we've talked about it a bunch already, so a good season, probably the lowest of the 3, obviously. Hopefully it's setting up some better things, but still enjoyed it.
The Bear didn't even crack my top 10 this year.
Woo! Barry's holding a grudge against that season, everybody.
I am.
He is. He's taking a stand.
7. I have another Netflix anime. Well, no, this is the first of the Netflix animes. Dandadan.
Oh.
This is probably one of the most hyped anime that have come out this year. It is animated spectacularly. It has a very stupid premise, but it's one of these things where the animation is good. These characters have such personalities that I like. That kind of, they're not. Yes, the male protagonist is kind of this boring, prototypical nerd who doesn't talk to anybody. But I'm kind of there, to be honest, for all of the other characters that are very interesting, and the main character, even as this season goes on, continues to grow on me a bit more. But Dandadan was my number 7.
I keep seeing that every time I turn on my Netflix. It's like
Yeah,
right
no,
there. It's like
they are advertising it
Yep.
heavy.
I'm like, leave me alone. I'll have to watch
And
it.
it has a good opening.
Okay.
Number 7 for me is Abbott Elementary season 4. I haven't talked about Abbott Elementary much because, I mean, it's not necessarily a long show. It has a big season 2, but in terms of amount of episodes, but my wife and I have been powering through it. It's essentially a mockumentary. There's a bunch of teachers who work at Abbott Elementary in Philly, and I just realized this year that I'm a sucker for a good mockumentary. It's The Office, but with teachers, specifically inner city teachers in Philadelphia, and it's pretty highly revered. But Quinta Brunson kills it, and if you like The Office or if you like Parks and Rec, you will find a version of your favorite character in each and every one of these teachers. So the principal is also very hilarious as well. So that's my 7.
I've been powering through that too, but I'm only on season 2, so I couldn't put it anywhere. Yeah. I don't know why I skipped that show for so long.
I don't know what happened,
so
but
good though.
It is super good.
Number 7 for me, I went with Like a Dragon Yakuza.
Nice.
I know everybody likes to say that show's not great, but again, as long as you're listening to it in the original Japanese audio with English subtitles, it is so much better than the English dub. And my love for Yakuza translates well into this show. So I feel like I'm the only one as like a champion for it. So hopefully they make more seasons. That'd be kind of cool. But I'll take what I can get right now. Number 7.
I need to go back and watch that.
We're now on to number 6, where we find X-Men 97.
Hey.
Is up in my 6 range. I don't know if Craig has that on there. He probably does at some point. So I won't say much either. But I vaguely remember X-Men from the 90s. But watching this was just such a treat to like the eyes, and it's they did a really good job like making a story that was also very much interesting. And I'm really getting into this the animated style for these ones, because I just got into Batman the Caped Crusader on Amazon Prime and Creature Commandos from HBO Max. So I've been very much starting to, like, since seeing this, also really getting into these other ones as well. But 6, X-Men 97.
Nice. 6 for me is the first of 2 television shows that I honestly should have watched, but this is where I think it would end up on my list had I did, and it is Fallout. Man. Now, I know Fallout is probably on both your lists, and it's probably much higher. I literally put it at 6 because I am normally not a Fallout guy anyway.
Neither am I.
I don't have a lot of games under my belt. I think it'd be interesting after I watch it. Maybe I'll just throw a quick sentence on when I talk about it on the podcast of where I would actually put it. But yeah, Fallout 6 for me.
Fallout 76.
Fallout 76. Yeah.
He just had flashbacks. Number 6 for me is going to be Agatha All Along. I loved that show dearly. I love the character. I love all the characters. I'm excited to see if any of them show up in the actual Marvel universe as far as movies. But as a standalone TV show, getting it all done one season's hard to do, and they definitely knocked it out of the park. Am I the only one who watched it? I think I am, right?
I think.
Yeah. Okay. Number 6. You're muted.
Thank you. I was coughing earlier, so I muted myself. Number 5 is the final, I believe. Yeah, it is. The final anime in my top 10 here, Solo Leveling. It is this one takes a very much interesting thing where it's from a mangaka. I'm butchering that right now, but it is a Chinese manga instead of a Japanese manga. Okay. Main story about this one, and it's on Crunchyroll, is this gentleman is the weakest hunter of all time, but he still goes on raids to support his family. He kind of gets this cheat where he goes out on these dungeon raids. This dungeon he thought he died in, but ends up waking up alive because it's almost like a video game to him now. So the game gives him these tasks and objectives, and he slowly becomes kind of the most overpowered hunter in it, but it's all based off of he has to do these video game things like quests almost, where he needs to run a certain amount, do a certain amount of things, and how the game works with like toxins and poisons, and it's all a little different, but the action of it is very much enjoyable. And season 2 is coming out later this year.
Okay. 5 for me is X-Men 97.
There it is.
Okay.
Nostalgia galore. X-Men was a prominent animated series for a lot of 90s people. I realize now this is the second 90s throwback that I'm talking about here, but it was a great decade. Um, I really liked what they did with this. It was a combination of following the themes, but also keeping it fresh and new. So people like myself who watched it back in the day could still feel, I don't know, like something new was coming around the corner, like something different was coming around the corner. Looks beautiful, and I know we already talked about it earlier this year, but it ended up as 5 because I really had an appreciation for what they did with it. So that's my 5th one.
Number 5 for me is this one. Literally just came out on December 10th and just found its way to number 5. But Amazon Prime's Secret Level is all the way up at number 5 for me.
I have yet to watch that.
Man, so each individual episode is based on a different video game. Each are about 15 to 20 minutes long, so they're right to the point. Let me tell you this. This is why it's sold for me. And I haven't been able to talk about it, obviously, but there is an episode about Unreal Tournament. And I played so much Unreal Tournament as a kid. And they're giving the backstory of Unreal Tournament, and the characters are in there. The announcers in there doing like double kill, multi kill, all of that.
Yes.
The levels are in there. Everything. And that's on top of like the very last one is Armor Core, and the pilot in Armor Core is Keanu Reeves. And I would watch 80 seasons of that thing with Keanu Reeves as an Armor Core pilot. And the one that was crazy to me that I was like telling everybody about, there's one based on Pac-Man, right? And it's a horror. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And lo and behold, we get to the Game Awards, and that game that is based on Pac-Man is what that episode was. So I was like losing my mind. I'm like, oh my God. And it's literally based on like Pac-Man is like the villain, and he keeps spawning in.
Awesome.
He's spawning in these people to try and get him out of the maze. And every time they die, he goes back and spawns another one. But every single episode I enjoyed. The weakest one is probably Sifu, in all honesty. But I would say watch all those. I watch them all in like a day because they're so short. Okay. But they are incredible. Secret Level, 100%.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Also, love the Unreal Tournament throwback.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
Monster kill.
Yep, that's all in there. Yep. And the weapons, all the weapons are in there. Man, so good.
I played that game a lot as a kid as well.
Number 4 for me, and I'm kind of surprised this fell all the way down here, but Shogun.
Oh.
Found its way. You kind of forget Shogun was released this year, but it was. Very much the Japanese style of Game of Thrones for me, and I loved that. My only real reason and my knock on it, it is slow. It is slow. And the thing is like, with slow seasons, especially like for example, House of Dragons never made it onto my list for this year, but it's because of how slow it was. At least with Shogun, it was interesting enough to keep me involved. I liked all the characters and how steeped in lore Shogun is. So I'm very much I very much liked season 1, and I know we're getting a season 2 of Shogun. So Shogun lands at 4 for me.
You know what's funny, Barry?
You have Shogun at 4?
My second of shows that I think would be on this list had I watched it is Shogun, and it is at 4.
We got our first match, everybody.
Yeah.
Got our first match, and I didn't even watch it.
Yep. That's awesome.
I obviously can't say much about it, but it does have it's something that I like. So I'm surprised I haven't watched it, but I will.
That's why it's not in my top 10, because of how slow it was. I enjoyed it, but it was a little bit of a slog to get through. My number 4 is actually where I put Fallout. I know we've talked about it, but incredibly well done adaptation of a game to a movie. It literally made me, as soon as I finished the season finale, I installed Fallout 4 and I went right back and started playing it for about a week before I was like, oh yeah, this is why I stopped playing. But yeah, incredibly well done show. Man, give me a million Fallout seasons, please.
Yeah. So, our top 3 as we enter the top 3 here now. Top 3 for me is The Penguin.
Ooh.
Finished that up earlier today.
Look at you go.
Penguin, an excellent drama. Trust me, if you guys knew the crunching I did for this, it was unreal.
We appreciate it.
The Penguin is probably one of like other than the other 2 shows that we have, a show that I really didn't have much hype for, but The Penguin delivers with excellent acting all around. And a nice tie-in to what's going to be most likely the next Batman movie, which I loved Robert Pattinson's Batman. So, just another one of those examples where like HBO is still like doing these super drama related TV series, right? While some of the other shows are not doing as good in my opinion. The Penguin, whether it's a one-off, I hope it's a one-off. They don't need to do this again. But it is awesome. I really liked The Penguin.
I gotta finish.
I'm super happy you did. I'm super happy you did.
Yep.
Number 3 for me is Only Murders in the Building. Season 4. Top-notch writing. This is a particular show that I think everybody should put on their list and just power through it. It's light enough where you can dip and dab and take a second, but to be honest with you, I think if you put it up, it's just like the book that you don't want to put down. I don't think you would put it down. They keep upping the ante by bringing in new talent and new actors this season. We saw Zach Galifianakis, Eugene Levy was in it. Eva Longoria was in it, doing surprisingly well at the role that she was playing. But it's awesome. It's an awesome show. Steve Martin Short, I've loved even before that, but I just love him even more there. And Selena Gomez is actually somebody that I already had respect for, but it even upped the ante on her now for me. So I think everybody should take a look at it.
Congrats to her and Benny Blanco.
Yeah, getting engaged.
Congrats to her and Benny Blanco. Yeah,
funny guys do win.
That's true.
Yes, he is awesome. I've seen some interviews with him. He's awesome.
Yeah. Number 3 for me is going to be season 4 of The Boys. I don't know if you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I don't think you did, but I don't think I've seen a bad season of this show yet. I'm assuming probably the next season is going to be the end, which makes me excited and sad at the same time. But man, they just managed to like reel me in every single time, and I'm just fully hooked. So season 4 of The Boys at number 3. It would have been cool to put it at 4. Probably made more sense, but whatever. Number 3.
2.
Yeah.
Fallout.
Okay.
Number 2. My main reason for 2 is Fallout blew my expectations out of the water in every way possible. Unfortunately, how it feels like with video game adaptations as of late is they are kind of half-assed, not very good. I heard Howard was involved in this, and I hate that man with a burning passion. Probably of no fault of his own, or all of his fault. I can't figure that out yet. But it is acted very well. Every episode is interesting. It is so much fun to get involved in the Fallout world like this. I will never forgive you for Fallout 76, but the Fallout TV show is it's wonderful and spectacular. I cannot praise it enough.
Number 2 for me is Penguin.
Hey.
It delivers. Barry, I think Barry did a fantastic job of explaining why anybody should watch The Penguin. Colin Farrell is an interesting person to me. I think he takes specific roles that I think early in his career I thought that he wouldn't take as his career progressed, and I love whatever he's calling a risk or not risk that he does. This is a fantastic role for him, and it's just well done. The entire cast from top to bottom really plays does a spectacular job. And Barry, you're right about that tie-in into the new Batman movie as well. This is definitely a good segue. So, Penguins 2.
Okay. Are we gonna match on number 1? That'd be hilarious. All right. So number 2.
Well, come on.
So number 2 for me. So earlier when I said that I was pulling lists of like the top shows, I found one and I started watching it and then ended up finishing it yesterday. And actually I watched it all in 2 days. It's on Netflix. Baby Reindeer is number 2 for me. My God, that show is insane. Based on a true story. It is a true story about a comedian and a lady who stalked him. The comedian is actually, he plays himself in the show. So he wrote the show, stars himself in the show, and it's like 7 episodes, about a half hour a piece. So you can get through it fairly quickly. But I kept seeing it on lists and I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And then I just got like sucked in. It's absolutely insane. Go watch that one on Netflix for sure. Baby Reindeer.
1 is Arcane.
What's your 1? He didn't finish it though. Did you?
No, I have 2 episodes left.
Okay.
But it's still number 1.
Still put it 1. Yep.
It's still
1 for me as well. We matched on that one for sure.
All right, so there probably isn't much to say that we haven't said in the other like podcasts as we've all been kind of getting into it. But what's incredible about Arcane is the design, the art, the music, the set pieces. It is a show that I personally do believe that is worth every single penny that Netflix put into it.
Yep.
And the 4K version that you can get physically for season 1, I have watched through it. It is also like, it is that next step up because you're not streaming, so you can physically see a difference.
Okay.
Like, you think it looks good now, get it in a physical. If you're somebody who has a 4K player and can take advantage of physical media and the way it makes everything look better, brighter, less blurry, smoother in general, like it's Arcane. And Arcane season 2 does an excellent job of delivering. It's never boring.
Yeah,
it's always these fun little pockets of fun exposition, fun interesting exposition, fun distress, sadness, exposition, fun again. It's a roller coaster ride that I will most definitely be going on again.
I think that 30% of my wife's and my Christmas gifts to each other are Arcane Demons.
Oh no, not you guys! Don't do it.
My daughter's is like all Arcane stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, I can't imagine what you guys are spending on it. They are pumping.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
I want an art book, but I know how expensive they are right now. I am not bothering.
Yeah, there's a Rihanna collab with Arcane that unfortunately I could say this because we missed out on the ones that we want, but like there's even like stuff like that's like everybody's doing an Arcane collab.
Yep.
Like everybody.
Gotta capitalize. Good old Arcane. Congratulations to Arcane for killing it for 2 straight seasons.
Yep. The only other thing I want to mention was an honorable mention that did not make my list. It's of course an anime, so I just needed to mention it. It is Deliciousness in Dungeon. It is on Netflix. I know Craig watched. I know Craig kind of watched it. I just love it. It's such a different premise, and it's such a fun thing.
It's well done.
To watch, and it's one of those where it's like you don't. It's not an anime you have to watch with like people outside, like, you know, not watch it with people.
Your parents.
You can watch it and there's no embarrassment that comes with it.
Yep. Agreed.
Now, we get on to movies. I just want to mention to everyone about movies is Craig took on probably like, I thought I did a lot this year by watching every Pokemon movie in a month.
That was a lot.
And doing that, Craig has pretty much a definitive list of genres of top 10 movies on TikTok take a look at his personal one. Take a look at the high sensitivity one.
Yep.
He's reposted all the stories there. This is his top 10 list, so you will get it here. But this man took an extraordinary amount of time to watch the movies that came out this year, and
So many.
I can't imagine.
It's a lot of movies.
How much things blur together, how much organization it takes to do all of that. But if you can show your appreciation in any way, like show Craig like what, and just watch his stuff, comment on it, like on it. It is I probably imagine it's an extremely satisfying thing that you did there, Craig, knowing you got to this point in the year and you pretty much finished it off.
There's a few still hanging out there that haven't come out yet, but I just decided to cut it from December of last year to December of this year, pretty much. Right.
Okay.
Like that way, because there's still like 3 or 4 movies that are coming out on like Christmas Day that if they're good, I'll just roll them over into next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fantastic, Craig. That was such an undertaking, and you
it all comes down colors. It comes down to I enjoy seeing the check marks on my notes app on my phone as I mark each one off.
Right.
It feels real good. So we'll see. I may do it again next year. We'll see. I don't want to guarantee it, but anyway.
So top 10 movies.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. My number 10 is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
It is hard for me to really rank Marvel movies too high on my list, as I judge them under a very critical eye. And Deadpool and Wolverine, while probably one of the best Marvel movies to come out in recent generation, does feel like it plays, again, a lot on the nostalgia factor. It is a fun, entertaining movie nonetheless, but I definitely still see overall, like, I try not to let my favoritism of that put it too high on my list. So it may be higher on yours, but it at least cracked my top
10. Okay. 10 for me, speaking of favoritism, I guess, 10 for me is Piece by Piece.
Yay. Okay.
I know we're not a music podcast. My number one favorite musical artist is Pharrell. It has been for the last 25 years, something like that. And to go into that with, I guess, that high bar that his music normally sets, and see the movie be executed, the Lego movie be executed in a way that tells a great story about his life, teaches a fan of 25 years still something new that I didn't know. I think it's a great movie. Now, if this was not Craig's list, like if I'm watching the Oscars, I will understand if I don't see a lot of accolades go its way. But as far as Craig's top 10 list for 2024, 10 is Piece by Piece. I would recommend it to anybody.
It's a good pick. And just to clarify, like, we're saying definitive because I've watched every movie, but these are just it's very simple. I just kept it to which ones did I have the most fun with, right? I'm not trying to get like too like pushed glasses up my nose and be like, well, the cinematography on this, I'm just looking for fun, right? Number 10 for me, coming in right at number 10 is Late Night with the Devil. I love that movie to death. Had so much fun. Watched it multiple times. Just an incredibly well done horror movie. And I feel like it's not really getting mentioned a whole lot, right? After it came out. I mean, there was big hype around it when it was coming out, but it's since died off. So right at number 10.
Number 9 for me, probably really out of left field.
Ooh.
Grand Tour, One for the Road.
Okay.
This was the final thing that the Grand Tour has done. This is, again, probably favoritism and that kind of thing on my end. It is really sad to see the Grand Tour end. But these guys are getting old, and it's a big part of my childhood when they were in Top Gear, a big part of my childhood now or adulthood as the Grand Tour comes to an end. I just thought this was an entertaining special. It's one of those things where as a kind of a kid, my parents would throw up like these Travel Channel snippets, and it would just be like helicopter shots of like these amazing outdoor places. And the Grand Tours did a great job of going to these spectacular places, shooting them very well and very beautifully, but
Yep.
then also adding a little bit of flair with the cars and the comedy that trio has. So the Grand Tour One for the Road was my number
9. All right. Number 9 for me, and like I'm interested, Craig, in what your thought process of this. But number 9 for me is VHS Beyond.
Okay.
Now, this pick, I think, follows a little bit of your mantra, which is what did I have most fun with? I had the most fun with seeing a series continue to be revitalized after a lot of installments did not just make the cut. Enough installments of theirs did not just make the cut. VHS is known for definitely pumping out some dribble and trying to create a Saw amount of sequels. This one was fantastic, and one of the first that really I watched all of their sub stories, and I loved every single one. So that's number 9 for me. Had a lot of fun watching that one. It was a surprise, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Number 9 for me is going to be coming from Netflix, but Rebel Ridge. Talked about it quite a bit when I first watched it back a couple months ago now. Kind of reminds me of Reacher a little bit, but I had so much fun. Again, most of these movies I've watched multiple times, which when you're watching every movie says something. Like if you take the time to watch it again, then you must be enjoying something. And nobody's talking about this movie at all that I can tell. But Rebel Ridge is just such a fun, I don't know, drama, thriller, whatever you want to call it, for sure. So Rebel Ridge, check that one out.
9. Alrighty then. Number 8 for me is now these next couple ones are going to kind of be whoo.
Ooh, I'm ready.
Netflix for me
Pokemon.
is My Oni Girl. From Netflix. It is an animated movie. It has visuals on par to Suzume for me, which I really enjoyed last year. Pretty much what this is it's a mix of Japanese kind of demons and changing that up. It is not. It is a fun coming of age drama type story. This isn't like everyone expects anime to be like this weird thing. This is not that weird, but it is so it is a movie much like Craig you mentioned. I just had a lot of fun with, and the visuals are spectacular, on par of that with Suzume, and with the fact that it is on Netflix means anybody can watch it. Didn't have to go to the movie theater for it. So
cool.
Keep that in mind. I don't know if anybody will watch it though.
Maybe. I guess they had about every single one. Maybe.
Number 8 for me is Late Night with the Devil.
Sweet.
They just did a great job. They just did a fantastic job. It was a unique story. You have I almost said down on his luck, but a fading out TV show host who his last hurrah is doing an exorcism on the show, and I think they did a good job of showing you that was what was going to happen. You as the watcher saying like that's not a good idea, and them executing it not being a good idea, and what it looked like, and a very crazy last 15 to 20 minutes, I'll tell you. And when we're thinking of the last 15 or 20 minutes of a movie and what it could do to stun you, I think that they did a fantastic job. So Late Night with the Devil, had a lot of fun with it. That's my 8.
Number 8 for me is also a horror movie, actually. I went with Abigail just because of how much fun I had with it. And I'm actually looking at all these. I'm like, yeah, I did watch this one multiple times as well. Just had no expectation whatsoever. I remember when the trailer came out, I was like, this is not going to be good at all. But man, does it deliver as just being just a fun horror movie. Horror comedy, really, honestly. And I don't know her name, so I apologize. But the younger girl playing her is just, she does it incredibly well. Everybody just looks like they're having a blast filming it, and I think there's something there for even if you don't like horror movies, Barry, you can still enjoy a movie like this for sure.
All right. Next one is probably, if I'm looking at my list, my last one that's kind of super out of left field. Look Back on Amazon Prime. I just want to give you guys an idea. This is sitting. This is my Scavenger's Reign from last
Oh,
year.
okay.
It is a short anime type film. It is sitting at 100% on
Oof.
Rotten Tomatoes, 99 on the popcorn meter. Uh, the less you know, the better I think this gets. Amazon Prime, animated. It is definitely like Japanese style, as I tend to recommend. Uh, but a very heartfelt drama that I, tears watered up in my eyes for. Uh, this is that level of. At least I sat in my home and I wasn't in a movie theater like I was with Encanto a couple years ago. So, I was definitely very happy with this. But I hope people take the time to watch this. Look Back. This is my
Okay.
Scavenger's Reign, people. This is my Scavenger's Reign. I will
I
live
have
and
like a
die on this
separate
one.
list where I'm typing down a lot of the things you guys are saying that I haven't
Anytime you
watched.
say the less you know about a movie, the better, that always piques my interest too. To go in
Right.
blind, like you don't get to do that very often on movies. So
Yeah, agreed. Um, number 7 for me is a movie that I have not had an opportunity to actually talk about because I just watched it this week. But Alien Romulus is 7 for me. I'm a big fan of Alien and Predator. I got that from my dad. That and Godzilla, actually, believe it or not. Hi, Dad. Uh, he loves those. So I was surrounded by those growing up. So I was very excited that they were doing another Alien Romulus movie or an Alien movie. I was also excited that they were kind of taking it back to primarily like singular alien, not just like loads of them. I do have a special place for aliens in my heart, but um it is nice when they're kind of like running away from one. Now, this movie does a fantastic job. You know what I was getting, Craig, specifically just because you are the representative of this? I was getting a lot of Dead Space
yeah,
in certain parts of it. The
yep.
zero gravity parts, dodging the alien blood, and just really anytime it was the zero gravity, and then just the decrepit nature of what they were visiting, and the aftermath of that station being attacked by the alien that they had brought on board. But great performances. Whoever was the android,
Yeah,
uh,
killed it.
killed it,
Yep.
killed it. And it was just really nice. And then the last thing that I'll say is I liked how they brought, and this is actually I guess my review. I liked how they brought back or they gave a lot of camera time or screen time to face huggers.
Yep.
Like, not just, "Oh, there's a face hugger. Oh, the face hugger died. Now this person has an alien inside of them." That like, there were parts where they were running and trying to avoid a bunch of them, and they brought how dangerous they can be, back into the fold. So, great movie. That's my 7.
Number 7 for me is going to be my man Jason Statham and The Beekeeper. Beekeeper is just an incredibly well done action movie. Nice to see Jason Statham just kind of go back to what he does best, which is he's just a dude that'll kill everybody. That's literally all you need to
Just
do with
leave him
Jason
alone.
Statham. Just cast him in, he can kill you, and
Right.
call it Jason Statham can kill you, and I'll watch it. Uh, I I don't know. I have such a soft spot for Transporter. I know
Yeah.
those movies suck, but I don't care. But yeah, The Beekeeper is incredible. Nice little mix of action and drama and like government agencies, which is always cool. Beekeeper.
All right, we now start to get back into like a little bit of normalcy with my list. Furiosa Mad Max Saga.
Okay.
Ooh.
For me, like, and I know I really liked it, but the more I look back on this movie and I rewatched it, the set pieces in it, like, you could definitely tell they aren't as practical as what we saw in the first one that floored my mind from how many years ago it was. There's definitely some bits of this awesomeness to it, but Furiosa also, and it has kind of a I don't really care for the beginning, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Same.
I really wish we could have just got right into where, she gets the gloves as the worker for the rigs, and then you start to learn more about her. I'm not a big fan of why this movie got so much hate, and the fact that people are like, oh, they want to see the same actors carry on. I think Anna Taylor-Joy did a fantastic job. I think
Hmm.
Chris Hemsworth also did a fantastic job.
He was
So
pretty good.
I don't know. People just need to relax about all this. I really like the bullet farm section. I thought that was a great action set piece. But just it is a good enough movie with a good enough budget. I didn't really care too much for the beginning.
And that's fair. So 6 for me was Speak No Evil. I mean, I think, what did I talk about it last week or the week before? It's just and this will be a running thing with using Craig, your take right at the beginning of this, but I just had a lot of fun with it. And I know that it's not necessarily the ending is not as good as the first one. I still have to go back and watch that first one, but it was just, it kept my wife and I on the edge of our seat. We didn't know how weird that family was going to get, and we were just hoping that the main family left, and they just kept not doing it. But it's a great movie, and I had a lot of fun watching it. So that's my 6th.
Number 6 for me is actually Deadpool and Wolverine. I also struggled a little bit of where to put it, because I remember walking out of the theater and being like, man, that was like amazing, incredible, one of the best movies of the year. I still think it is, but I don't know if I cooled on it a little bit as time goes on. I have not watched it again since the theater. But the cameos, finally getting Gambit, man, you can't beat that.
Yeah,
It's just such a well done movie, honestly.
I get it.
I miss good Marvel movies, and this was a good Marvel movie.
Yeah, yeah. Number 5 for me is Inside Out 2.
Ooh.
Uh, I I only actually recently got to watch this because they did it recently added to Disney Plus. But I don't know what it is, because it's kind of like with Elementals last year, where this incredibly animated story, and it just get like, these types of movies get me to look back at my childhood, and like, you get to reflect in a weird way that you really don't with other movies, and remembering and we all had these moments in high school where we kind of forget who we are to impress the people that we look up to, or the future anxiety takes over, all those types of things.
Hmm.
And this is just one of those moments where like, you look back at that and you were like, yeah, I feel that, and they portrayed it in such like a really spectacular way. um and I think, yeah, if like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people should be watching like this movie, and it a lot of people did. This
Yeah.
was a very popular movie when it was out in theaters, and I understand why.
All right, 5 for me, Monkey Man.
Sweet.
Have you watched all the John Wicks? Did you wish there was another one?
Pretty much.
This action thriller, Dev Patel directorial debut, also starred in it as the titular character. I guess the titular character would be if his name was Kid, but amazing action pieces. I am starting to really like an action movie where you can see the progression of the person. Like, they're just not perfect at fighting the whole time. Um, People like Jason Statham and such like that, they can't play the character that's like not good at fighting and then gets good. But
Yep.
Dev Patel kind of nails the he hit a good move, but he also doesn't always fight in a crowded kitchen against 6 guys kind of thing. And I think that that's part of what makes you root for the character, because you just don't know when they're going to get knocked out, or if they're going to get overwhelmed by what they're or by who they're fighting, or if that chase scene is not going to work out for them in the long run. But it also has a great story behind it, and when it gets to the end, when he faces his, I guess, the antagonist, you really rooting for him to not lose that fight. So Monkey Man.
Number 5 for me is where I put Alien Romulus. All the things you said are 100% correct. I think the scene where they're sneaking past the face huggers and they have to like lower their body temperature or whatever, it's like,
oh my god, yeah,
incredible.
wow,
Yeah, just the perfect, just like the original Alien, the perfect blend of sci-fi and horror, just mashed
yeah,
together. Everybody's killing their roles, and the aliens are terrifying again. It's not like, as you got progressively on in the Alien series, they become less and less of a threat because they're killing so many of them, that it's nice
right.
to see that, like, no, one of them can literally destroy an entire ship. They're the perfect predator. So yeah, number 5 for me, a little bit higher than yours, but we both agree that movie slaps. I love
It
saying
does.
slaps. It's such a
It
good way
does.
to describe
Yeah,
it.
it
That
does
movie
feel good.
slaps.
And you know what? You're right. As the Alien series progresses, they become more of a horde.
They do.
So it's really nice to just see one be devastating, because
Yep.
that's what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
4.
4.
Gladiator 2.
Hey. Okay.
I enjoyed
Bold.
this movie enough to like really put it number 4. I love the original Gladiator, and maybe this is a bit high because of my favoritism of the original Gladiator, but I feel like the action set pieces were great. I think Pedro Pascal, Paul Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, I think
Mhm.
is the other actor. I think they both just work so well. And while I do believe this was one of those that really didn't need to be made, this is another one of those I think Hollywood is kind of grabbing at, like, oh, Gladiator did well, let's make a second one.
Yep.
We didn't need it. But did I enjoy this movie? Yes.
That's exact how I feel about it. We didn't need it, sure, but it was entertaining to watch, I'll tell you that.
We didn't need it, sure. Fantastic. My next one, what are we at? Number 4,
4.
right?
Yep.
Number 4 for me is Cuckoo.
Fair.
Go see it. Don't look it up.
Yep.
Don't look
Yeah,
up
you can't
anything
say
about it.
anything about it.
Don't look it up. I can't tell you really 90% of this movie because it'll ruin it. But what I'll tell you is, in the horror genre, which I know Craig and I talk about frequently throughout the year, it's hard
I
to
stay
find
away
unique
from them
horror
to
movies
play.
that can nail it. And this one is different. And the nefarious plot that is happening throughout the entire movie, once you get an idea of it, you're like, I need to see this. What is going on? And the scary thing in the movie, it's not too scary, but oh my gosh, like the hair on your hand or your arm will stand on its end, because it's just weird. It's just a weird antagonist, and in a great way. So Cuckoo. I know it's maybe not everybody's choice, but for me it was 4. I had a lot of fun with it.
Number 4 for me is where I put Monkey Man. Man, I know I was super high on it way back when it came out, and incredible, man. Just, it looks good. The soundtrack's cool. You get that John Wick feel, but more of a story than John Wick. I mean, honestly, we could say John Wick doesn't really have a story, right? That's fair. It doesn't. They killed his dog. That's literally what it started it all.
Basically.
I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it one more time here. Please go watch Monkey Man. That everybody needs to watch that movie. It deserves to be seen. But yeah, please go watch Monkey Man. Please.
Please go watch it.
Yeah. Top 3.
Our top 3 now. My number 3 is Anora.
Ooh, good
a
pick.
movie I heard nothing about until I started looking up reviews for the top 24 movies that were released this year. Anora is this dramatic comedy of a retelling of Cinderella, if I can put
Okay.
it in a way. I'm trying to think of really how to explain this movie, but it is really a dramatization of like a modern retelling of Cinderella. Like, it comes with Cinderella is not a poor person cleaning at a house. She's stripper.
Oh,
And we kind of get Russian mafia based into this as well, and all of this other stuff. I really enjoyed this movie. It made me laugh. It is like a dramatic comedy, and I just really think more people should watch this movie. It's in theaters. I watched it in theaters, and just overall, it's a lot of fun.
That's a pleasant surprise on your list. Good pick.
Yeah,
yeah, I like it.
Did you watch this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I liked it too. It's not on my list, but I did enjoy it.
No, yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
I don't know if this is on your guys' list, but maybe. For me, 3 is Fall Guy. I action comedies are great. They just are. But I think this one was well executed. It was very polished. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, great back and forth, great rapport. And I think that's what really propels the movie. But there's also a lot of great scenes, and it's kind of nice to see it just a homage get paid to stunt people, stunt men and women, because that I think that's an art that we don't necessarily think about. Uh, Most of us probably can't name 5 to 10 stunt people, or
Yeah.
maybe even 3. But it's a necessary part that really makes the movies that we love happen. And this movie really does a good job paying homage to it. Only Murders in the Building also does too. Make sure y'all watch it.
I actually had, like, my personal list. I have Fall Guy as my number 1 for comedy, but I actually don't have it on my top 10. Number 3 for me was Love Lies Bleeding with Kristen Stewart. Absolutely love that movie to death. It's not for everybody. It's weird. It's crazy. It can get, like, it goes from 0 to 100 real quick. The ending I thought was crazy, but in a good way. I'm sure it'll probably get some awards here and there just because those type of movies tend to. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I would say give it a shot. If you don't like it and you're like, oh, that movie sucked, I won't hold it against you. I can see that. But for me, I just thought it was amazing.
All right. So my list is also known for usually having some animated movie very
Yes.
high up. The Wild Robot.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Very much got me in my feels as well. I don't know what it is. I like to think I'm a non-emotional man, but when I'm just sitting watching a movie, you get into it, you lose track of trying to be the hardened steel man. And just let yourself really enjoy a robot taking care of a duckling and all of the trials and tribulations and learning that it's not just it's not just about what you're originally there to do, but more the journey it takes you on.
He had a good year, Pedro Pascal, because he's in 2 of your movies on your top 10. That's pretty interesting.
If Wild
He's
Robot
awesome.
doesn't win Best Animated, I'll be so upset. So upset. I think it deserves it.
Yeah.
Well, I got a little sad as I saw these lists being read out, because number 2 for me is Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's totally fine. I can see
Look,
it.
like I think Deadpool and Wolverine is one of those rare movies that
Yep.
can really fit anywhere on a list.
Yeah.
I'm super critical of them, and I can't. I don't know, like, because the thing is for me, and just to not overshine you, Craig.
Oh yeah.
But like, Avengers was like the highlight, the 1 and 2. Like, you give me Endgame or Infinity War, like
Mhm.
that was the 1-2 if I had to put it there. And it
Right.
feels like we've just never reached that height ever again. Maybe we will, maybe, but
No, and you're right. They prepped us with Civil War, and then they were like, "Here you go."
Yep.
And we were like, "Okay." Like, but yeah, Deadpool, Wolverine. Yeah, it's just fun from beginning to end. My household is a huge Ryan Reynolds household, and he really delivered. There were specific jokes that I wouldn't even have thought of that he landed, and he did a great job breaking the fourth wall. Gambit.
I
Gambit.
get it.
Yep.
We got Gambit, guys. And that's me being a little biased, but that definitely shot it up the list. I also like the inclusion of all the different Deadpools as well throughout that movie. The nice Deadpool, but like also the other ones that were brought also the other ones that were brought in. So number 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, definitely.
Okay. Number 2 for me is I am all aboard the Substance train. I love The Substance. Absolutely enjoyed it. Watched it. Made my wife watch it. She was super uncomfortable the whole time, but not for the weak stomached people, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Definitely that gross out style of horror, body horror. But I just love the story. I think it's done incredibly well, and it's so different. It's just something new. Another one where they tell you not to look anything up, and I'm glad I didn't and just watched it because it made it so much better. But yeah, a good year for horror, honestly.
Yeah, you're kidding. You're not kidding.
Number 1 for me probably comes as no surprise. I'm actually surprised it's not on anybody else's list unless it's at number 1. For me, it's Dune Part 2. I like out of all the movies this year, Dune Part 2, I've rewatched the most. I've enjoyed the most. I just think it's a really good class of cinematography, good acting, and artistic vision, especially with the trying to remember. It's the black and white sequence from that like gladiator type style fight. So I just think it's awesome, and we finally get some really good, like, I'm not even sure how to put it, but that final action sequence as well, when he just kind of takes over, and I'm the leader of the Arrakis and stuff like that. So Dune 2, that final set piece did a very good job of working its way. It almost feels like a Lord of the Rings is what I want to say.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to get like even grander.
I gotta watch all those. I didn't have an opportunity to see Dune this year. So for me, number 1 is Longlegs.
Ooh.
And I put it there, and I kept rearranging my list, and it just never moved down. And I think it's just the amount of fun I was having. Longlegs is not the scariest movie of the year, but
They sure wanted you
I
to think
think,
so.
yeah, it wanted you to think so. It had some pretty good advertising. But as far as nailing it, I know that we joked. Well, I know that Craig mentioned cinematography not always coming into play when
Yeah.
making a personal list, but the cinematography added to the fun for me. There were certain camera angles in this movie that made me think that the main character was going to have something terrible happen to her, and it was almost awesome that it didn't in a lot of those moments. And Nicolas Cage is in this incredibly. He is one of the most unique actors I think any of us have ever seen, and the roles that he plays and picks, he nails while still kind of bringing his own uniqueness to that role. But it's just a fantastic and well done movie overall. And that combined with the lasting effect of it and um, meeting the hype that my wife and I had for it, I think that's what makes it sit at number 1 for me.
It's a good pick.
Craig's number 1 is Trapped.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. No,
Drum
It
roll.
would be, wouldn't it? It would be.
I actually was just reading the other day, somebody was saying that like they think it's in the Split universe, and I was like, that makes so much more sense, and I would enjoy it so much more if it was. All right, my number 1. I don't think you guys are ready for my number 1. The best movie this year, and trust me, I watched all of them. The number 1 movie is Wicked. Honestly.
Damn it.
Yeah. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. Like, which movie did I have the most fun with? Which one affected me the most? It has to be Wicked. It just has to be. Saw it twice in theaters. Just talk about like trying to hold back your manly tears in theaters is a tough thing to do. And I had to do it twice in that movie. The music is good, but everybody knows that, right? From the Broadway show. I have become just the biggest sucker for musicals now, and I don't know why, but man, it's just an incredibly well done movie. Absolutely incredible. It's something I feel like you should see in theaters because it's a spectacle. But even watching it at home, like I'm excited to watch it at home again. Just blast that music. I listen to the soundtrack all the time. It's just insanely well done. Probably not what everybody expected and not what I expected when the year started, but
definitely.
I can't fight it, man. I just have to accept that Wicked is my favorite movie.
My wife has been excited about it for about 9 months now, 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it would have been somewhere on my list had I seen it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why I didn't. Yeah. But
that's it.
Well, yeah, everyone. That's it for the top 10s of our TV shows and movies. If you want to complain, like if anybody ever has anything to complain about not watching, we just gave all of you probably about 25 TV shows or movies to watch that we all highly recommend as people who are trying to, watch these things on a like critical level in some ways. But it is all about having fun, and that's why I have a crap ton of anime in all of my lists because it's a lot of fun to watch. And Craig took on the undertakings of watching so many movies,
such
and
a burden.
also just like, and especially like all the horror you guys do, where I'm not anywhere in the horror space. So
that's okay.
if you like horror, listen to these two. These two love horror more than anybody else I know.
We got the horror, you got the anime. We got it covered.
We keep each other balanced.
All spectrums of the movie franchises and TV shows. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one's going to be a big one. I really hope people enjoy this one, as it does cover kind of the big three things that happened this year, and a big event for our podcast as we go along. If you are listening on your podcast listening platform of choice, please make sure to leave a like, leave a review. I did get our Spotify Wrap this year. I continuously thank everyone who gives us a listen and their time. You're just following three random dudes that started a podcast years ago, and we love just talking about this stuff, and it's a great way to talk, and I really love the fact that we do this every year. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. The support that I see and I get on YouTube is spectacular as well. We put time into this, and this is our hobby and what we enjoy doing. So thank you all for liking and commenting who do that on our YouTube videos. As we get toward the holidays here, we are not sure if we're going to have a next week podcast, as that is the week of Christmas. I will be active on Twitter or on X. Sorry. If you want to know, like, this is of course an hour and a half episode, so if you can split it after the Game Awards, you get this week. Following week, you get the top 10s. We are working on our top 10 games. We will be getting that out after January. At the beginning of January, I have to give ourselves time to play some of this, and Indiana Jones came out late. Blame them.
Yep.
Thank you all for listening and watching. Enjoy your week. If we don't see you, have a happy holidays. We will see you next time. Bye.
Happy holidays, guys.
See you. Happy holidays.